Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the 7th and newest release from Head Robots, that being the Head Leader Centurion, or however you say that word, which is basically an upgrade for the G1 Cerebros and Spike set. Now, if you guys don't know who Cerebros is, Cerebros transforms into Fort Max's head, and then Cerebros' head is formed by Spike. This is actually Spike. Well, at least in terms of the G1 cartoon. All the way up to the Rebirth, which is kind of like that 4-part miniseries that kind of heralded the end of the G1 universe. That actually kind of ended everything, and then we went into the Headmaster realm, which was Japanese. You had the Headmaster, and then Master Force, or something. I don't remember all those. But basically what this set does is give you a way to upgrade the head for this with a little bit more cartoon accurate heads. Now first off, I do want to thank the Head Robots people for sending this to me. One thing I do have to mention though is that, especially with this version, this is not the final paint. This is not actually how it's going to completely look with a full-on regular retail release. But I'll get into that more in a little bit. Now, as I said, this allows you to kind of upgrade your Spike figure to give a little bit more accurate head look for Cerebros. Now, depending on which continuity you actually like following, whether it be the American animation or the Japanese animation, you actually get two different versions of the head to display your Cerebros with. Now, that being said, this is a pretty specific set and geared towards a certain degree of collector. Most specifically, the ones that actually own a Fort Max or a Cerebros figure. Now, these sets will work with any of the other head robot upgrades. By that I mean, like, for example, if you have the Onslaught figure, or, well, I have him painted up to look like the Stronghold set from the TFCon set, you do have the little holes on the bottom of the heads here, which you can just come over here, and those do still slot right on there. So you can use them in that respect. You can use that, or you can you can throw it, and you can put it right inside there. And I actually really like the way that that looks. So, I mean, you can still use these, but it really is more dependent on having a Cerebros figure. It really is the reason why you're going to want to get this set. And like I said, this is a pretty limited market. Not everybody has a Fort Max to be able to display this with. But since I do, I absolutely love this set. One thing that's always kind of bugged me is I don't like the face on him at all. Now, I'm a very G1 Transformer fan. I never watched the Headmaster series. So I never actually saw this particular look, or, well, that kind of look, I suppose. But this is how I always saw Cerebros. And that's a much more accurate representation of how he looked in the cartoon. There you have him here, and then here's a picture of him. And as you can see, this is a much more accurate representation of what we saw in the actual cartoon. Now, one thing that I will tell you is, like I said, there is a color difference between this, which is just the review sample, and the actual final version. The final version is going to have dark arms and dark legs, and you can see the Transformer, you just kind of flip that down like that. But here's the sample I get. This is actually what it's going to look like. And as you can see, the arms are black, the legs are black, and it gives a much more uniform look, especially in terms of the head, because it matches this color here, and it kind of goes all the way through. The other aspect is the visor. I don't know how well that's coming across, but he does have a more blue visor that you can see right here. And as you can see, it's a lot lighter of a color, and it looks a whole lot better. But just in general, this is how it basically looks. Now, if you're more a fan of the actual Headmaster series that followed the whole rebirth in Season 4, I suppose people could say, of the Transformers cartoon series, you're going to like this head. Now, this head is a lot more of a look that kind of Spike already has. You can kind of see what's going on here. Very similar. Obviously, this is a darker color, but this looks a whole lot better if you ask me. But you can see where a lot of the same design elements carry over from this to this as well. So it really kind of depends on what you choose to display, whether you like this or you like this one. Like I said, I personally prefer this one just because this is how I saw Cerebros initially. The only time that I ever saw Fort Max was when it was in the Rebirth. So, I mean, this is what I'm used to seeing. The other item that it comes with is a really nice sword. Now, I entirely do not know where this sword comes from. I'm assuming that this is from the Japanese series, but I could be totally wrong. I do know that in terms of, I don't actually know what his name was. I think it's just Grand. In the Grand Maximus figure, the Cerebros figure, I guess, came with a sword very similar to this, but it was all black. This one has a much nicer look to it. I don't know if that's what this is in reference to, but I absolutely love the fact that he comes with this sword. I think it's just wonderful and absolutely gorgeous. One Another thing to note is he does come with this peg. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the peg with my set. I had to use one from my Stronghold set. But the peg for this will actually also give an accurate readout here in terms of his tech specs. Mine, unfortunately, doesn't. Now, all you have to do is take this, slot this inside here, just like so. And as you can see, mine doesn't give a full, well, actually doesn't stay in there. There we go. Mine doesn't give a full account of what the tech specs will be. Basically what they're going to do is this little bit right here is going to be a little bit longer. So when you plug it in, and mine's, unfortunately, my spring in here is a little bit looser than I wish it would be. But it will have a full tech spec when the actual set also comes out. And then to put this on, you just take this, and like I said, you just plug that in right in there. And there you have the Japanese version. Yeah, put that up, because that doesn't look good. There you have the Japanese version. And the other thing is it's a much better proportioned head. I mean, you can really see that this head was really huge on here. To kind of give you a little bit better of an idea of how much smaller the head is, here's my Brave Max one. I just put the Spike figure on there. I mean, here's his head, but I don't know why I did that. They're the exact same thing. But you can see that the new Head Robots one is a little bit smaller and proportions a whole lot better. And then you can just see, I mean, the head just fits better on here. It's not nearly as big as this one, as wide as it. So it's definitely an improvement if you ask me. And because I actually don't prefer this head, just take that off. This one just pops right back on there. There you go. I actually prefer that one. Now, it will look a whole lot better when it actually has the full-on black. So I'm really excited to kind of see that. But I really love the way this looks. This head almost looks like it's maybe a little bit too big. Maybe because like the whole face area is a little bit bigger than this actually is. But I still really absolutely love that look. I think it's a really cool look for this guy. And then because of it, it does add a little bit of articulation. You can kind of turn the head, but not too much. And then the sword just fits right in his hand, and now he's got a different weapon, which I really think is very cool. So you can kind of, now that's as much as I can turn his head, but I mean, I just think that looks wonderful. And in terms of the robot mode, you can see that it's definitely a smaller robot than the actual Spike figure itself. But without a doubt, guys, I absolutely love this upgrade set. For me, it finally gives me a way to display Cerebros actually looking how I remember him looking. And I absolutely love that. So without a doubt, I would absolutely highly recommend picking this up, especially if you have the Fort Max figure. Now, the one thing I will say is there are two other versions other than Fort Max. You have Brave Max and you also have Grand Max. And since I also have a Brave Max, I would really love it if they actually did a recolor of this guy for that. Hopefully that's not too terribly far down the line. So that's it, guys. So thank you for tuning in. I want to thank the folks over at Head Robot for sending this out to me. And until next time, this has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.